Brodes Media.
Ew, 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 ew. A sweep. Hey, a sweep. All right, we're going to break it all down. Before we do, if you are new here, hello, welcome on in. We talk about Philly sports every day, so make sure you hit the subscribe button and smash the thumbs up button as well. And you can also take me on the road with you by going to Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can either search Brodes Media or Sports Talk with Brodes. It'll pop right up. You can subscribe there as well. And a 5-star rating with a review helps out the algorithm so much. And we've been popping off over there lately. So I'm just continuing to push those platforms as well. It's not just YouTube. If you're interested, it's there for you. Thank you guys so much. I'll shut up and enjoy the show. What is going on, everybody? Welcome on in to Sports Talk with Brodes. So I did not get a chance yet to react to the Miami Marlins series. Here's a quick little synopsis. Okay, here's your little cliff notes. Loved how they started. Hated how they finished. A 2-2 series split, and I have no idea how such a phenomenal, fantastic team can have such a glaring hole in the 5th starter spot. It's ridiculous. I mean, they could try anybody, and they all flat out suck. What the hell happened to Mick Abel? What the hell happened to McGarry? Some of the guys we've been trying, it's so desperate. Taijuan Walker is a flat out bum. The fact that he can't even go out there, trot out there, and eat up 6 innings, allowing 4 earned runs. He'll allow 42 earned runs in 6 innings pitched. I don't know what the hell to do. There is my quick thoughts on the Marlins series. Okay, fast forward to what we just witnessed. Are you serious? Are you serious? Battling so many damn injuries, you're at home and you sweep the asses of the Tampa Bay Rays. Wow. The amount of no-names that delivered, no disrespect to Cody Clemens, because I know everybody's so pumped about him, but we just watched a series where Cal frickin' Stevenson came up clutch. Cody Clemens had a walk-off. Garcia is behind the dish in the 9th inning with a rocket arm down to second base to record a massive out. And remember, Estevez blew a game earlier in this series. He needs all the help he can get out there. And he got help from Jose Alvarado in the 8th. My man's back. Okay? My man is fucking back. 1, 2, 3 innings, 7 pitches. But wait, I'm not done with the list of no names that delivered. Who the hell is Buddy Kennedy? As a South Jersey guy, of course, the Millville, South Jersey connection, I respect it. And I am aware of Buddy Kennedy. But who the hell is Buddy Kennedy? And let's not forget about Weston Wilson and the dribbler to give the Phils a 3-2 lead in this final game to make sure the brooms come out and you actually do sweep Tampa. So what a bizarre series. Nick gets drilled. Bryce doesn't run out a ground ball. Ranger Suarez is a serious issue. When I tell you, this is as chaotic can get. Kyle Schwarber leaves a game because there was potentially hyperextension going on. He slotted into the lineup the next day, but then is removed from the lineup when he took some swings and it did not react the way we needed it to. They're not hitting any panic button, apparently. We may see him very soon. This 7-game stretch we got coming up here against the New York Mets. Dude, I want to see it. I want to see this Phillies team do something big in these 7 games. 5-2 at the minimum. 5-2 at the minimum. I want you to play with piss and vinegar I want you to play with fire. I want you to bring that edge that you brought when Nick Castellanos got drilled. And yes, they ended up getting suspensions. The pitcher, the manager, Kevin Cash, is removed for a game. The pitcher gets 3 games. I thought John Boy did an amazing job, by the way, breaking down not just the lip reading, which he does a sensational job with, but the potential of tipping pitches and the changeup, and maybe that's why the whole entire inning played out the way that it did. Then frustration started to boil, and you plunk Nick Castellanos, which is a disgrace. And I sort of have to walk through this timeline chronologically to share my thoughts in the moment because it tells a bigger story here. So I guess... where do we begin? Should we begin with just game 1? Okay, I'd say I want to do chronological order, then I ask where we begin. Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. Okay. So let's get to what happened with Bryce. Bryce Harper, in a game where Rojas is out in center and Estevez blows the lead and it's a home run that was caught and then the ball drops out over the center field wall. It's a shame, but you got Cody Clemens, who was a star for you and definitely had the back of the superstar. Bryce Harper should have doubled. He should have gotten extra bags. It ends up with a single. Now, I heard the reaction. I saw the reaction. There were a lot of Phillies fans that wanted him to be benched. I even heard some takes that they wanted him to be removed from the game instantly. Charlie Manuel would do it to Jimmy Rollins. Bryce Harper is no different. He's the face of the franchise. And if you want others to follow suit, you need to put the hammer down. Because even in that particular game, prior to Bryce Harper admiring the shots, which wasn't even a shot, by the way. That wasn't a moon shot. That looked like a line drive. Did that have the admiring type of launch angle? If you put it 650 feet like Kyle Schwarber normally does, then fine. And by the way, Bryce hasn't hit a home run in a month. And that's the ball that you think is a no-brainer lock? I don't know if it felt right off his hands. Clearly it did for him to have that reaction. But when you saw the shot itself, I mean, that was not a let me just sit here, stare at it, and I can gloat while I'm running the bases and trotting at half speed. But we were talking about this during Coffee with Brodes. And if you're interested in more Brodes media content, of course, you can join the memberships here on YouTube. All the information is down below in the description. For $4.99 a month, we do 8 Coffee with Brodes live streams a month, 2 times a week. You do not want to miss out. You also get access to our Discord channel. Once again, all the information down below. But we had a discussion that next morning with our coffee about what should be done. And I made it very, very clear. I despised what Bryce did. I hated what Bryce did. This is coming off of when he had comments about the division's not over. And I love that. Because how many times have we witnessed this team say, we'll be okay, we're too good, we'll go out there, we'll take the diamond, we'll get back to ourselves. I actually felt that there was urgency. And then, of course, Bryce somehow urinates all over himself the following time he takes the field, which is ridiculous. So I hate it. With that said, though, if you're Rob Thompson, and Bryce comes up to you after the game and instantly apologizes for it and all that stuff, it's not the time to bench Bryce for a statement when you're trying to win games. Some of you may not like this. It's a case-by-case situation. But Bryce Harper, he's the type of player, you take the good with the bad. When this stuff happens, Rob obviously acknowledged it. His reaction in the dugout, he was not satisfied, like the entire Delaware Valley. But I don't know what benching your best superstar does. Right now, it's almost the middle of September. There's not a soul on that team that thought, for whatever reason, it was okay for him to do what he did. So It's not as if others are going to follow him now and go, well, Bryce can do it. I don't think that's the case. And also, how many times in the playoffs, since we've had some of these historic playoff runs, is that fair to call it a historic playoff run? I don't know. But, just playoff runs in general. How many times has Bryce destroyed us due to not playing baseball the right way? And how many times has the team decided, well, since Bryce always decides to play at 50%, I'm going to? When they were winning playoff series after playoff series after playoff series. I hate it in the moment. And I just don't know if now is the time to act on it. And now it's time to go win games and start to make this push happen. If it's May, June, and you want to make some sort of statement, I could probably live with it more. But the time is now to go full throttle mode. And not one person in that clubhouse feels it was acceptable what Bryce did. Everyone knows it's bad. So you don't need to punish Bryce. Everyone knows it was a disgrace what he did. Bryce, you're one of our go-to guys. Let's go. That's all. That's all. That's the way it needed to be done. And I'm glad Rob Thompson had the same thought I did, because Bryce doubles how many times the following game? So many damn times. And I believe we'll eventually get home runs. I hope. He's a mysterious one. He has one elbow. He goes on a tear. He's got clear pain going on. Now he's starting to hit doubles at a Nick Castellanos pace. I don't know what to make of it. It's just one of the most bizarre athletes I can remember when it comes to health and execution. It's crazy. So no, he shouldn't have been benched. Rob did the right thing. Good win to start the series off when it could have absolutely went the other way. If they were to lose game one after Bryce. And yeah, look, maybe some of this is hidden because you scrapped your way through. If you lose that game 2-1, you're getting no hit. Kyle hits a solo shot. That's your only offensive production. If you just end up going flatlined the rest of the way and you get zero offense and you lose, and Bryce could have done something larger there late in the game, but he screws your team over, maybe we do feel differently about it because it's a 2-1 series instead of a 3-0, and you were right there in game one, but unfortunately, costly mistakes and costly errors is what crucified you. And you can live with losing games, but when you play stupid, dumb, embarrassing baseball, then it's a lot more difficult to swallow. So I'm acknowledging that Cody Clemens and the win game one and the series sweep is potentially changing my view on it, but what do you want me to do? At the time, you make sure it's talked about. You make sure the clubhouse knows that it's unacceptable. And you may think, well, how do you tell them it's unacceptable if there's no actions and there's no repercussions? Here's the reality of this clubhouse. Rob Thompson is a let the clubhouse operate by the pros doing what they need to do. Now, not every clubhouse is the same. Not every clubhouse has $300 million contract guys. Not many of them have Nick and Trey and Kyle and Bryce and JT. And, this is as pro can get. On paper, that is. A lot of these guys, this is a different style of clubhouse. They always say this about hockey with fighting. Whenever they try and take fighting out of the game, a lot of people that love it so much go down the path of you have to police the game itself out there. So when the refs start to be embarrassing, you know that I can't do X, Y, and Z because there's a goon on the Flyers fourth line that's willing to drop the gloves and you are going to have to pay. Well, in a weird, different way, this clubhouse, they police themselves. That's the style, and that's how this whole thing has been set up since Rob Thompson has come back. So, or has taken over, and Joe Girardi was let go and did not come back. Here's reality. Yes, the Rojas's of the world and guys who bat 8th, 9th, 7th, it's not the same. Show me when the lack of heart and play in the right way with Bryce and everyone following is the reason why they can't win in the playoffs. It was a bad moment. I've never seen those level of moments hurt Bryce Harper in the playoffs. I've seen him strike out. I've seen the offense go quiet. I've seen them come up short against an Arizona Diamondbacks team. But not for that. It's just for not hitting the baseball. And then poor managerial decisions by putting your team in a worse spot looking at rough relief pitchers. But with the way Jose and Corcoran are going, baby, I don't know if we're going to be in that predicament this season. All right, so there's the Bryce angle. Let's get to game 2 where Nick gets drilled. And should we retaliate? Should we not retaliate prior to seeing suspensions? But I want to start here. Yo, Ranger Suarez, this isn't good. I have zero faith in Ranger right now. They already tried the method to get him back on track. They removed him from throwing. They gave him some rest. He had dead arm prior. What's he have right now? His velocity is 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 25 miles per hour. Way too less than the norm. The velocity dip. I don't know what I'm saying. His velocity is dipping way too damn much. I don't think at this time of the year you get to where they need Ranger to be. So, you ready for this? Next man up. It's on Sanchez. Sanchez is better than Ranger now. We have to focus on Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez as your 1, 2, 3, which is a big hit, by the way. It is a hit to your staff. The reason why this team was so sensational in the early stages is because of one thing. Well, no, that's not true. Not one thing. There were a few things. But the pitching, the starting pitching was gross. They were filthy. And the stats back it up. How many times they had someone go through the 7th. The record when this team gets guys rolling through 7. They were a scary bunch, and teams were afraid of them. Big time. Losing Ranger, now Sanchez being 3 and having a big unknown at 4 changes a ton. But there is a Ranger Suarez problem. It's real. It's legit. It's not impossible for somehow him to miraculously find it. But I'll tell you what, I'm not putting money down on it. That's for damn sure. Because they've done what you are supposed to do. They went through the proper protocols. And you know what we got? His last outing. Not getting swing and misses, not striking anybody out. And how many hits did Tampa have? I lost count, but it was a career high against Ranger. His velocity is insanely concerning. And right now, with the lack of pitching depth, you don't have the luxury of anything, obviously. Look at our number 5 starter, but I don't know what to do. Guess you got to keep trotting him out there and begging that he somehow gets his velocity back. He's not getting his velocity back. He's toast. He's beat up. He's done. I don't have faith at all. That looked like a defeated man. It did. Looked like a defeated man. Trey Turner sure didn't look like a defeated man in that night. Couple ding-dongs. The extension, sweet as hell. Cal Stevenson. Buddy. Good stuff. What isn't good is watching Nick Castellanos get drilled. Now, in the moment, this was the question I was asked. Is it time to retaliate? Do you go after someone in game 3 on Wednesday night to make a statement? And this is prior to seeing the suspension come down. My answer was no, and here's why. And it was even more no after the suspensions because Major League Baseball then handled it and you just move forward with the game. But it's not the Mets, it's not the Braves, it's not the Diamondbacks, it's not a team that you're going to run into in any sort of National League series headed to the, while you're trying to head to the World Series. Focus on what the real goal is at hand. Think about the task. I get it. You don't want to get walked all over and this and that. It's the Tampa Bay Rays. They're nobodies. They're not worth it. If there was someone that may cross your path and you want to step up to someone who's trying to bully you and all that stuff, then maybe I'd feel differently about it. There is a chance where if it was someone in the National League and someone you know you're going to go toe-to-toe with, if it's the Dodgers, if it's the Brewers, if it's... I mentioned how big these games are going to be against the Mets. Don't forget about that Brewers series, too. You can't sleep on that bad boy. I just thought due to the opponent, well, it was trash and it was a garbage decision to target him, and that's exactly what they did. Who are you? By me retaliating almost gives you what's the word here? Validation? Maybe? That kind of sounds right. I think you could spin it that way. I don't know if that's exactly the word I was looking for. But yeah. Not worth my time. You're not worth my time. That's sort of the mentality I had about it. And then even more so, once we realized that the manager and the pitcher was going to miss time, let's just go play some ball. And, of course, Nick Castellanos hits a homer. How about Zach Wheeler? Allows a leadoff triple, nobody scores. Allows a leadoff double, nobody scores because of an excellent defensive play by Bryson Stott, who comes home on an infield hit to the right side. Man on third base. Great tag by Garcia. He was dancing around some traffic there, and to only allow one, it was two. It was 2 earned runs by the end of it. But, Zach Wheeler, he just dances around all sorts of trouble. Most teams, I'm going to tell you for free here, all right? Listen, I'm no scientist, but mathematically speaking, I think if there's a man on third with no outs, that dude's coming across home plate and scoring. But he's Houdini. It's just how it goes. All right, here's some of my side notes. Kirkeren and Jose, we touched on them. That's great. Oh, how about when Bryson Stott got robbed because he smoked one down the first base line in a tie ball game late in the game? It hits off the ump, bounces right to the first base side, and they're able to pick the ball up, scoop it up, and step on first base. How demoralizing, how deflating. We're finally doing good things. It looks like maybe we can get some life. Looks like maybe we can get a double, and you just get unlucky as hell. Nobody's fault. Just like nobody's fault with the home run. When Bryce should have or could have hit a home run, he didn't hit the home run. They went and reviewed it. It was fan interference. It was a double. That's not the fans' fault. And no, they were not catching that at the wall either. I know the Rays challenged it, or they wanted the umps to look at it and get a review. There was no way in hell that ball was getting caught. It was probably going to be a double. But those sequences happened. And that's sort of my thoughts on this series as the timeline progressed out. That's why I hate doing sometimes the full series pods, because you lose the in-the-moment feel. But with the Eagles, and then I had to take care of some stuff over the weekend when they were playing the Marlins, and then when I was going to talk about them, I'm like, there's one more game left in the series before an off day, so maybe I should wait. And the timing of it all kind of played out that way. But that's why I hate doing it, because I want the day by day. It's just how I feel. That's how I feel. Whatever. All right, let's take a listen to Kyle Schwarber and his thoughts on Nick Castellanos getting hit.
Best.
What did you make of that whole situation with Nick in the 8th inning?
Yeah, I mean, it's, that's just not, that just shouldn't be in the game. There's, to take your frustrations out on a hitter just because, in my opinion, you're getting hit, that's bullshit. So, it's just not right. And, there's just no part of it that should be in the game. And, it just doesn't look good for them. You know what I mean? So, that's kind of a reflection on, for them as well, that they have to be able to handle that as well.
I like that answer from Kyle. Very pro answer. Here's what I like about what happened, though, and I'm not surprised by this. Most teams do this. It's not anything out of the ordinary. It's standard. But when you're ready to go to the playoff battles, I want that camaraderie. I want the connectivity. I want the guys running out of the clubhouse. And there was a great shot that was on NBC Sports Philadelphia. They tweeted it out. And if you go back and watch every single person and their reaction when they were in the dugout and how they get to the steps and run out full speed and all, it's not about throwing punches, hold me back, bro. You know, that whole thing. Like, oh, you know, they're not going to fight anyway. It's not about that. It's about just the intensity of having your brothers back. So Garrett Stubbs is on the tablet. He hears the reaction from the crowd. He sees what's going on. He tosses the tablet down and runs. Jose Alvarado's got his glove on. He sees what happens. He stares there for a second. He throws his glove down. He gets up and gets after it. Guys were moving. Guys were ready. And I just think it's the time of the year. And this is almost a taste of it. And I'll compare it in a weird way, kind of. With the New York Mets, I heard some Phillies fans bring up the fact that they value the mental mindset of the Mets because they've almost been in playoff mode forever. So there's no change when the playoffs come around because their season was on life support so early in the year that to even get into this position to fight, you had to essentially put your backs against the wall and win every game, and every game matters. There's pride that Mets fans take in that, I guess. And then there's Phillies fans that worry because the Phillies have been in leads and have been in control, and they've just sort of been working their way through the regular season. They have to turn the switch. For whatever reason, I'm just laying out a scenario that I know Phillies fans have felt because I've taken their calls and I've seen people tweet it at me and all that stuff. So the mentality of already being in playoff mode maybe benefits the Mets. In a way, I think that response starts to push you towards, here we go, baby. Here we go. The moments are more intense. And I'm saying regular season, but September, games matter more to each team. Wins and losses, you're checking the standings. You're looking at rivals. You're studying what other teams are doing. Everything is amplified. So when the emotions and the adrenaline and the fire start to burn more, you're warming up your body. You're warming up your body, baby. That's all. They were warming up their body. Here's Nick Castellanos after the game he got drilled.
What you thought was going to happen did.
Yeah, I just told him that was bullshit.
That kind of summed it up.
You know, I mean, it's you're throwing a baseball over 90 miles an hour and you're frustrated and you're gonna throw at somebody. You know, that's like my 2-year-old throwing a fit because I take away his dessert before he's finished.
Oh, dude. You know how much I get on Nick Castellanos sometimes for his crazy, absurd remarks and just the way that he does his interviews. That is hysterical. He's pretty much calling it, you're like a 2-year-old. You're like a 4-year-old. You're starting to cry because you're not getting what you want. How about you shut up? How about you start throwing fucking pitches over the plate and getting us out? How about you stop tipping pitches and you stop putting your glove flared out with your thumb, which is now telling me what pitch it's going to be. You could see the difference in that John Boy breakdown on when it would be something fastball related, when it's going to be something with that change up. And yeah, I mean, it looked like at times Bryce was, I'm saying, go check out the video. It's very fascinating. But instead of maybe taking the pitch and throwing it 90 miles per hour in the body of Nick, how about you figure it out, stop being a little baby, and start pitching like a pro? Shut up. That's all. Handle your business. Be a man. What does that do for you? It is pretty crazy to think about. You can just throw at someone 100 miles per hour. I think if you throw at someone intentionally, and I should be the judge, then you have to stand there and allow Nick to swing the bat and hit thigh or ribs. Thigh or ribs. Get one full speed hack. If it's something that is unintentional, and we do see that happen sometimes where it's 97, it hits someone, it's like, dude, I did not mean to do that. Okay, fine. But that was as intentional gets. That's baseball 101 of I'm throwing at you. You need to sit there. I remember playing wall ball. I don't know if any of you were old enough to remember wall ball or suey. where you had the blue rubber ball, you throw it against the wall, you got to run, you got to tag the wall if you touched it last, and all that stuff. Well, at one point, you'd have to stand there. I forget exactly why this would happen. And they're allowed to chuck the ball at the wall, but you have to stand there and you can't move. Sorry. Let's go, Rob Manfred. Get your head out of your ass. All right, that's going to do it here. Should I play? You know what? I'll play one more audio. Here's Rob Thompson addressing Bryce Harper's single. That should have been a double, but it was a single in game one. Here's what he had to say.
Should Harper have been on
Yeah. And before I could get to him, he came up to me and apologized.
Does kind of set a tone, too?
I think it does. I think it shows the other guys that they need to hustle and he's accountable and he admits to his mistakes, and that's all you can ask for, really.
Of course, mistakes are going to happen and you want to own up to them. I would rather just see him get on second base, though, for what it's worth. All right, that's going to do it for me. It's nice to talk Phillies again. I apologize. Love you guys to death. You know that, and I'll see you all on the next one.